Dun 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 dun. She is finally on the bench, ready to get unboxed and start building. Really excited about this build right here. Customer requested this a couple months ago. We finally got everything that we need to start building it. Really excited because not only is it a fifth scale, not only is it TLR, it's also going to be electric. Now, most of you guys out there love the gas stuff. You love the brapping. You love the sound. But funny enough, my customer already has this in a two-stroke. He wants it electric now. So we're going to start this project on top of the other projects we got going on, bodies, other cars we're doing, tons of other stuff. But we will be starting this now. I will be posting pictures up, videos, and stuff like that as the build continues. But really excited about this one. All right, so first things first, we got the chassis. First thing we got out of the kit. If I'm not mistaken, this thing's about 27 inches long from back to front. But just like anything else, we're going to get this thing all suited up, ready to get protected from anything else. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to clean it up, and then we're going to add the RC Motorsports chassis protector. Because as most of you know, this car isn't cheap, and you want to protect it. You want to make sure everything stays nice, because you all know these chassis ain't cheap. So we're going to do that first, and we'll show you a little bit more how we cut it, trim it, make sure you got all the access to everything else under it. Cool. All right, so we took the chassis, we put it in a slop sink, we washed it up, we kind of took a little bit of some wet sandpaper, we kind of wet sanded it a little bit, just to kind of get the surface a little bit more applicable to this, decal. Next thing we do, we peeled it, we put it on. Now, the beautiful thing of it being, like I said, a kit is we have full access to the chassis. Not like a ready to run, where if we wanted to do this and also make all the holes for all the screws, we would have to take that car completely apart. And obviously, that is a lot of time, very tedious, and obviously will cost the customer more money. So this is obviously a better option because obviously it's already a kit. Now we flip it over. Boom. So now we have access to all the holes. We're going to slice it, cut it, all this first, and then we're going to start with the screws. All right, here we go. And we're back at it. TLR 5B book. Obviously, the instruction manual. We're going to go through this thing. We got the chassis ready. So as you guys can see, there's already holes poked out everywhere. And basically what I do is with a pick, I put the holes in, and then from there what I do is I take the hobby knife, put it in the hole, and then I kind of carve out the circle. And when it's done, it looks like, the other side. It looks like this. Perfectly done, so I don't ever have to worry about ripping off this whole chassis skin just to take off a component. That being said, also we are going to be stainless steel screwing it out. Now, for some of you guys don't like the stainless steel screws because you say it's stripped. Honestly, most of the time that a screw strips is your fault. It's human error. I've been a mechanic for 13 years. So we're either too lazy to put the bit on fully, or we're in a rush, or you're using a screw gun that's way too strong, and we strip the stuff, instead of using hand tools or whatever the case may be. Anyway, but like I said, we don't want anything getting rusty or anything like that, because obviously this thing will be waterproof because it's electric. Other than that, we're going to be upgrading a bunch of these aluminum parts. Obviously, I won't need a gas tank from the plastic over to there. And then we'll be back here, show you guys after I basically cut this all out, how it's going to look. And who do we got here? My boy Martin Carpio, legendary race car driver at the Three Tree Track.
Team associated right here.
If you've never been there, let me know if you want to come race this summer. We got some.
Pretty cool.
So if you got a buggy or a truck and you want to come race with my boy right here at the Three Tree Track, you let me know. He says he's got money on it. If not, he's got you on a 12-pack of Stellas. This guy. Wow. All right. Happy hour, right? It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for coming. Anyway, back to what we were doing. I will be back showing you guys what we do with.
All right, back at it again.
All right, so I'm basically showing you guys what I do. Pretty simple. So what I do is I kind of slice it, then I cut it, and then come in a big circle. Boom. These are perfect. Bam. So we got the first stage done from this to this. Boom. Check this thing out. We obviously didn't have to put a gas tank because this thing is going to be electric. We did a couple upgrades. The top plate, center brace, super important. And we also wanted the servos to be held a little bit more securely. With the plastic, it kind of shifts a little bit too much, a little squiggly. So this is going to be a lot stiffer, a lot better. Love the way this thing goes together, though. Really, really super smooth. Only pain in the butt about everything is obviously doing the stainless steel screws, because obviously as you pull them out of these little baggies, you need to look through all these screws to obviously match them up. But once you kind of got them all lined up, it's pretty simple after that. A couple other things that you need to kind of basically convert, because obviously when this is plastic, it's usually a round cap. This is obviously... So we were doing this the other day, so check it out. We finally cut out all the holes, so you can see all the screws are now accessible. So if this thing needs service, needs to get torn apart or anything like that, we basically can access it without having to remove the whole chassis protector. Really cool. Second part coming up soon. Rear end going in, and then the final step will be the obviously conversion kit with the whole installation of everything else. We got a couple other things we have to finish before we get to the rest of this. Stay tuned. Show you guys more. All right, so here we go. We got the center diff built for the TLR 5BE. Remember, this thing will have mechanical brakes. That's the beauty of this kit. So what it does is it keeps the stock throttle brake servo, but then again, what you do is you program the ESC to be only forward only, right? So what that does is it eliminates the motor from braking, right? Which most of you guys, if you don't know, that's how you create heat. When the car is going forward and you reverse or hit the brake, it reverses the polarities, which creates the heat. So that being said, when you eliminate that, you will have this car running super cool and running for hours without having to really worry about overheating or any of those issues, which is really cool. Guys, happy Monday, right, to all you guys that are at work checking out. Little update on the TLR 5BE build. We're almost done with this thing. We did the whole front end, did a couple of the upgrades you guys have seen. We finished, obviously, the center diff. Thing is absolutely massive. I mean, you guys can tell. I mean, look at my hand. A little bit different from an 8 scale. Really cool from TLR. It actually comes with an aluminum center diff. Obviously, with all the heat and stuff like that, they want to protect it. And now the rear end is finally done. Next step, we're going to be building the shocks. And then we'll finally be able to get to this piece, which is obviously the actual conversion kit. I've never put one of these together, so I'm excited to kind of see how it fits. As you can tell, we'll also be still using the mechanical brake, just like I said in the last video. Stay tuned. So one of the beauties about kits is you basically get to build everything exactly the way you want it. You make sure everything's tight. You make sure you put the best stuff from upgrades to motors to speed controllers to servos, whatever the case may be. You know, problem most people nowadays are afraid of this. Obviously, this looks like a hot mess. They are like, where do I even start? Key thing is organizing, and I'm going to show you guys in a minute how I organize this. But kits are 150% better than RTRs. You know, for example, like a Stampede 4x4 or a Slash two-wheel drive. I tell people all the time, if I was to do it all over again, I would obviously start with a kit. I would have never got a Slash or anything like that. I would have started with something better because I am more about go than really show. You know, I like something that's going to perform, that's going to last, and that's going to be a lot better than something that's going to break and I'm going to have to upgrade every 2 seconds. You know, for example, this slash 4x4 in the background right there, I probably, not going to even lie to you, have close to probably $2,000 into it compared to my TLR Buggy 4.0, which in all honesty is the same scale. It's 1/8 scale, but this thing has half the money into it and will blow that thing out of the water. In every aspect, speed, driving, jumping, tunability. You can spend well over $2,000 on a slash and it'll perform nowhere near like one of these 8 scale race buggies. But like I said, it's kind of what you're into at first. You know, you could get a kit, but obviously you're going to spend a little bit more money up front, or you can get an RTR and spend less money. But at the end of the day, you will get better performance out of a kit than you would an RTR car. So here we go. So pretty simple. You obviously saw that whole mess that I had right here 2 minutes ago. We now separated it, organized it, put it in basically, you know, the same steps that they want us to build it in so that it's a lot smoother. It's a lot easier. This isn't obviously as intimidating as when you just saw that huge pile of parts. And then we put it all together. So beauty of it is I get to control what shock fluids I get to put into it instead of like an RTR, like I said, which is kind of whatever they give you is what you get. And you even get better parts. You see, like, for example, this right here is titanium. This is not like steel that you get on most of your RTRs, and this stuff bends very easily. This does not. This is titanium. This is probably one of the strongest rods that you can get for an RC shock shaft. You know, you get things like the dust boot covers. You get, obviously, some of the lightened aluminum eyelids for the shocks. All right, so as we wait for the shocks to kind of dissipate with the bubbles and stuff like that, we're going to move on to another project while we're waiting on that. Check this out. Little update on these two DBXLEs. They've been here for quite... All right, so here we go. Beautiful shocks, bled, ready to go. Pretty excited about this. These things are looking beautiful. Next thing we're going to do is we're probably going to line this thing up first. So this is the Grapheel G something. I don't know. I forgot the name of this body. It's basically for the MCD buggy. My customer said he saw it on a TLR 5B. So now we got to see basically how this is going to line up and cut it and make it fit. Because obviously the original one comes with the opening for the actual 2-stroke engine. And obviously this is going to be electric. So we need a fully enclosed body. So we're going to see how we can get this to line up. Stay tuned. All right, so check it out. This thing was a little bit tougher than I thought. This is almost like 2.5 millimeter thickness. This thing is so thick. I mean, this thing don't even bend at all. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, I had to trim it a bunch, obviously, because this isn't for this exact car. I had to remove the body posts here to make this obviously sit down. Now, my problem is going to be how I'm going to mount it back here. Because obviously, looking at this, it looks like it uses a single hole. I don't know what I'm going to do here or fabricate to obviously make this fit. I only need at least one hole. But stay tuned. Hopefully we can figure something out to get this thing to fit. Check it out. Good morning, y'all. So back here. So I was thinking all night how I was going to mount this. Obviously, the original TLR 5B uses 2 body mounts, and I was thinking these right here actually use like a floating kind of body post that actually mounts directly to the shock tower. So I figured I would look up some stuff, and I found this right here. This is called Red Cat part number 07119. And if you see right there, that's a little floating one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill right into the middle of this and then make like a notch. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to post it right there, which is then going to line up with that hole. We're going to see how this is going to work out. The first thing we did was we made a little mark. All right. So because the last thing you want to do is start drilling And when you start drilling, what happens is as you put this against the flat spot, it'll start moving all around. So if you make like a center punch right in the aluminum where you want it to start, this will make it a lot easier to kind of stay where it's got to be, and it'll drill right through. So let's see how it goes. I'll give you guys a little tip. Whenever you're drilling into metal, you should always have a little bit of lubricant, whether it's some shock oil or something like that. I usually put it in here, and every so often I'm going to dip it as I'm drilling, because the last thing you want to do is to overheat this tip and then it'll just snap. All right. Always start with a smaller drill bit. For example, start from there, then there, then there. It'll make drilling it a lot easier. But here is the final product. She's in there. Boom. So check it out. That is the final product. Cool. Drill right through the back. All right. Now we just got to mount the body. All right, she's starting to look like a buggy now. Got the wheels on. They're all glued up, ready to go. All right, so we're going to start with this. Really excited because this looks like a really, really nice kit. Opening it up, we're going to get the manual, of course. We'll look into that. A lot of the stuff supposedly is carbon fiber. So, wow, look at this. This is really nice. We're going to start opening all this up. And it's all lettered, all organized again, just like TLR always does it. Let's see how this works out. All right, now this sucks. I don't know what to say. So for you guys that are ever going to do this on a TLR 5B, before you go and buy stuff or put stuff together, what sucks is you actually lose this. So we bought this obviously as an upgrade, and now we're not going to be able to use it because TLR uses their own brackets. On top of that, I already installed this, but that's not a big deal. But this is a very expensive piece, and now basically we need to eat it. All right, so this is basically how the servos are going to be mounted. This bracket's really, really nice. The carbon fiber is great quality. The actual brackets are like a light aluminum. This whole piece weighs nothing. So what I was talking about before, if you guys didn't know, I had a couple people DM me saying, what can't you use? So your servos used to be mounted vertically. With this kit, they're actually going to sit horizontally now, like usually they do on like dual servo conversions for like the fifth scales. Which actually kind of makes it a lot easier to kind of adjust stuff. And if you need to access the servos, unlike this way, it's super tight. So we're going to see basically how the rest of this thing goes, and we'll come right back. So I'm starting to realize I probably should have opened up the conversion box before I started building this, because obviously now I'm having to take apart things that I've built already from the beginning. Starting with the steering, servos, and now I got to take this thing apart because, oops, we're losing bearings. Because it comes with the new push and pull style steering servo saver. It's aluminum also. It's a really cool upgrade. Just sucks that I got to redo this. All right, so we're going to put this on and we're going to see how this works out. So peep this out. She's finally mounted. We'll be putting this in obviously in a little bit. Something like that. Then we're going to find out the way these links fit on here. Really clean. I really like this conversion kit. This thing is solid. It's 6 screws holding the whole bracket underneath. And then we got the rest coming up soon. What's up, guys? Good afternoon. Checking in. A lot of you have been DMing me, asking me what's going on with the TLR 5BE. You guys obviously saw all the content, all the putting together of the car and what's been going on, and it's finally done. I just finished the paint job last night. Went to bed at like 1 in the morning trying to finish this thing up for my customer. The due date was today. I told him it would be done today, so it's done today. So stay tuned. I'm about to show you guys what it looks like. Cool. All right, without further ado, check it out. Here it is. So we decided he wanted to do basically like an abstract paint job. So we did obviously multiple blue colors, liquid mask the whole body. We ended up having to actually cut out the the rear section to fit the ESC because this wouldn't go down once I mounted this. You guys all saw this. We went with the Red Bull scheme. That's what he wanted. He basically said, go to town. We also had to actually cut this piece out because of the way the steering was set up now with the dual steering facing up. I had to cut it out to make it basically fit. But she's ready to go. I ran it. This thing is absolutely beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's fast. It's so different from, the 5B, his regular build. But so basically, yeah, we were supposed to put these on. I showed you guys these earlier. These are the Graphil. Same company that makes this body for the MCD. Makes these carbon fiber pieces. They're basically mud guards for the front and rear. I messed up when I ordered them. I ordered them for a 5T, which kind of sucks because now I need to eat this. The shipping costs back to Italy would be more than what I paid for all 4 of these. So I will have to be ordering 4 new ones for this. But in the meantime, I think I'm just going to take it and I'm going to put it on my 5T. So just a little under the hood so you guys can see. That was the steering. We were talking about the dual steering. You guys remember the problem I had with that. The carbon fiber battery trays, Max 5 ESC, Castle 2028 motor, which hopefully Castle can get their stuff straight because we're waiting on